Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 25 of the Tentacles of Cuyahoga County. I am your host, the infamous ex-chief. And it's the week of September 9th. I had to make sure that I actually recalled or remembered, because for whatever reason, every time I do my intro here, I always forget what the date of the Monday is, because I'm normally recording this on other days. So I feel like pre-plan, or sometimes post-plan. Is that a word? I don't know. But, so we interviewed the East Canton police officer, Andrea McInnes, and at that time last week, we had submitted public records request. They denied it. I filed a claim through the Ohio Court of Claims, or a pleading. And the day after that I filed it, they reversed their decision and released the body cam and the initial offense report to me. So, anytime I get any type of update like that, I want to make sure that I put it up. So that's what we're going to be talking about here on this episode. We're going to show the body camera, the report. We're going to do an analysis on what happened that night. I've had a lot of comments, good and bad. A lot of old salty police officers out there. That's all I'm going to say at this point. I'm an old salty also, but I still believe in mental health. And I think that that's something that's paramount, that's missing in law enforcement. I don't think that they're giving enough mental health to officers out there. Speaking of which, segues into my next video here, which it was totally astonishing to me, because as I stated to you, I've always said I am the ambassador of good law enforcement, but I'm not pro-cop. There's a difference, right? Even as an administrator, okay, I am good law enforcement, not pro-cop, because there are bad cops. And speaking of bad cops, oh my, I've got a video for you. Here you go.
Want to hear about some of my favorite things to do? This is going to piss you off. This is so much fun. So, and it's early in the morning or late at night. Oh, these are my favorite. When you're driving and you're coming at me, and you know, we pass each other like such, I like to hit my brakes. Yeah, especially early in the morning when you're running late to work, you're speeding, you know you're speeding, I caught you speeding. I just like to hit my brakes. Get the blood flowing. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about.
So before we go on, first I have to stop, because this is one thing, you know, when I was in administration in East Cleveland, this drove me nuts, the social media of officers. So whatever, this guy's brain dead, okay? And he's patrolling your streets. I don't know exactly where. Maybe prior to post-production, maybe I'll look into it a little more and try to figure out where he's from. But he's patrolling someone's streets. He's brain dead, and he's talking about this absurdity on social media. And if you go look at his his profile, his social media profile, he's doing it consistently. And he's doing it, obviously, in his patrol car, which tells you that, obviously, he needs a little something more to do there, boss. Whoever this guy's boss is. And boss, why the hell are you allowing this guy to do this? Anyways, he's in uniform. Why is he preaching in social media about absurdity, making the entire profession look like a bunch of amateurs? But I digress. Let's continue.
Really, I'm helping you out if you think about it. Getting your blood flowing, getting you ready for work. I just like to hit my brakes, scare you a little. Also, when I'm sitting and I'm running speed traffic and I gotta go somewhere else, if I want to go to the gas station or grab a snacky or something, I'll wait. I'll wait till you come by. I don't care how far you're back. If you're 2 miles back, I'm waiting on you. And then as soon as you pass me, I'm going to pull out. That's what I'm going to do.
Again, social media in law enforcement will be the death of these brain dead morons. And this guy is brazen enough to have his own TikTok channel, which he has multiple videos like this. What department in their sane right minds allow officers to put videos like this? And obviously he hasn't even been checked by it. I mean, the absurdity of his statement there. Oh yeah, I'm just getting your blood flowing, just screwing with you. That's the image that this department needs.
This is going to be my shot at some affiliated marketing ideas that I've come across, and I'm never going to plug anything that I don't personally already have or know what it does, and by no means am I expecting everybody to buy everything that I'm talking about, but I'm going to show you some selections of some things that I wholeheartedly believe in and feel they're a great value. And if you happen to be shopping for one of those things at that time, then I ask, yeah, support me. Use my affiliate code that I'll be using for these plugs. That way, again, it helps the show out, helps me out, helps keep the show active. And you're already buying it anyways, right? Why not help me out? So with that, my first plug. So again, we're here at the compound, and this is where I actually keep, this is the back of my car. I think everybody knows I drive a Tesla. And this is actually where I keep actually a couple of tools. Air compressor. Everybody needs one of these things, especially now that the weather is getting colder. Tires compress. You need to fill it up. This little bad boy here was actually recommended, honestly, on one of my Tesla websites, and I bought it. It's made by Fantic. It comes with a nice little carrying case here, along with the actual device itself. All right. This is a standard tube for your car. It also does come with, I think I have it tucked away into the assigned pouch here. So I literally, this has been in my car, I don't even know how long, and look, I even have the screen protector still on. All right, so you press the center button here, and it comes on, and I don't know if you guys can see the screen here. Again, it's been sitting for months, probably the entire summer. I haven't even checked on it. It still has the 2 battery inflating a tire, not mine. Actually, somebody here at the compound needed some air. So I inflated their car tire and threw it in here. It still has plenty of battery juice, and you can see here there's actually a selection down here that shows you what level PSI you want it to go to. You plug the hose right here at the top. You actually just plug it right directly into the tire itself. And again, you hit the button again, and it self monitors to whatever PSI. So this is set at 38 right here. It would just inflate. It would just keep inflating and automatically turn off once it reaches 38. So again, I'll have several products that I'll be recommending here and there. That's my first one. It does a great job. I think personally everybody should have one, but if you don't, then that's okay too. Thanks, everybody.
Welcome back, everybody. So, since I started this channel, I've been getting messages. I have like quite the vast crowd that's actually watching this show. I have literally bootlickers, which again, if you don't know what a bootlicker is, it's a person that's going to accept the government and or police, no matter what they do, they're going to hold them in their righteous position. And then I have the anti-police crowd, which no matter what explanation or what accountability you have on law enforcement, they feel that police are tyrants and that they should not be in existence. And it's sort of interesting to me because I get messages constantly and they're actually all fairly respectful messages, but it got me thinking. I mean, a lot of people have said, hey, you talk about bridging this gap between law enforcement and public perception, but yet you're not willing to talk about the bad actors of law enforcement. And I've tried to stay away from it, honestly, from the show's aspect. I figured there's enough channels or shows out there on YouTube that show what, the bad qualities of law enforcement are. But it got me thinking, and I actually put some requests out to some police officers that are still active, that I respect, and I asked them and posed them this question: what do you think about exposing bad actors? Because that is the issue, isn't it? You have bad police. They're making all the other police officers' jobs twice as hard and makes them look bad. So I've accepted your challenge, anti-police crowd. Periodically, I'm going to be showing, but I want to do it objectively. I will be showing things that I find to be tyrannical. Law enforcement officers that are doing something that they probably should not be doing, but I want to be doing it objectively. So, previous to this, you saw the TikTok from the deputy, which was completely mind-blowing to me, and had, again, as an administrator or previous administrator from East Cleveland, I would be totally floored if one of my officers were to put that on TikTok. And like I said, the guy regularly posts. So I'm assuming his department has to know about it. He's got a channel. How he posts those messages, because they're insane messages, I have no idea. So I've gotten a lot of messages, probably at least 10. So for me, that's a lot on the show at this point, about the Canton officer kicking I believe he was 21-year-old while he was on his knees and his hands up. And so I did do a public records request for Canton. I know the body camera is out there, but it's, again, being portrayed by the Fourth Estate of Northeast Ohio's media, which I do not trust. So I wanted to objectively analyze it, and hopefully that will be coming soon. So don't worry, I got your message. Again, I'm going to save my comments until I see everything. I requested that officer's body camera. I requested the other officers that were on scene's body camera. I requested some training records relative to the officer and some incident reports specifically to the incident, because I wanted to objectively go through it with you. And that's going to be the difference. When we have these little segments of the tyranny of officers, it will be through objective lenses. So I'm having to soothe my throat today. As we've discussed, my birthday's coming up, and every birthday I give myself the best gift, and that is that I get sick. And it's already coming on. Hopefully this is the worst of it. Yesterday was pretty bad. Today seems slightly better, but my throat is extremely raw. So I apologize for the oddity, the noises that may display from my my rough throat. So we're going to go through this. As I talked about it, once I got the body camera, I said that I would bring it back on the show. I got some comments relative to the Canton interview with Andrea McInnes last week. They were sort of all over the place, mixed. A lot of old salty cops thought that she was complaining the wrong way. And I think she sort of acknowledged, had she had it to do over again, she may have done it a little differently, but she basically said, hey, these are the issues. She said, I don't think that I would have changed resigning, but perhaps the way I resigned, I may have changed. So I thought that was important to note. And I think that her reasoning, while the old salties seem to think is flawed, I think it holds a lot of character, and there's a lot of truth to it, that she was just involved in a traumatic shooting situation. And not only does she not get any type of mental health break, they literally have her continue to finish off her shift that night. That seems like some old East Cleveland things. Officer gets in an officer-involved shooting, and again, you're supposed to get 3 days off, but nobody ever got 3 days off. You were right there to finish your shift. So this body camera is a little long. It's an hour and 47 minutes. And I'm not going to go through and analyze all of it, because if you recall, she was actually on a traffic stop prior to her being shot at. Then she ended up pursuing the motorcycle. So it's an hour and 47 minutes. I'm not going to analyze all of that. However, I will attach it to the end of this video, the entire body camera. So if anybody wants to peruse it, you're more than welcome to after my commentary is over. And I meant to explain this. I hit stop recording because I was going to start working on the body camera, but I meant to include this. So I know I've brought it up before, but just to explain, it looks like the department has the first 15 seconds buffered on the body camera. And so just so you know, I mean, you're going to see it all the time when you're watching body cameras, that there is a certain period, and it's up to the department how long that period is. So most body cameras are actually recording all the time, but they don't necessarily save the data unless it's needed, unless you press the button or activate the body camera in some way. And then what happens is, depending on what the setting is the department has, some departments set it for 15 seconds, some set it for 30 seconds, some set it for 60 seconds, because it does reduce battery life the shorter it is. So if you're doing 15-second buffer, meaning it will go back. So if I were to hit my button right now, and my department had a 15-second buffer, if I hit it right now, it would actually go back 15 seconds in past, but there would be no audio. There would just be video. And the reasoning for that is, if you get into some sort of traumatic experience, you get into a shooting or something, and then you hit the body camera, but the shooting has already happened, or actions from the suspect that led you to do whatever you're doing have already transpired. You don't want to lose that. So that's why there's a buffer that goes back and basically grabs the 15, 30, or 60 seconds prior to you pressing the button. But in order to save on data space, storage space on the body camera itself, there's no audio recording. So when you go back those 15 seconds, you're just viewing the video. So you'll see on her video, I think it's set for 15 seconds. So I just didn't want you to think that anything had been edited. A lot of people will see these body cameras and are like, hey, where's the first 30 seconds of the audio? And I'm just explaining why that is. And just one other message as I'm going back through and reviewing it, I'm just going to let you know, there are small juveniles in the car. I will be redacting their face, blurring their faces out, just so you know, that is me redacting the juvenile occupants' faces. I don't think there's any need for their faces to be displayed. Okay, we're back. We got the body camera up. I'm going to stop it. Comment along the way here. Hopefully this works out. Again, I'll be redacting a couple things. I think, again, the juveniles be redacting their faces, blurring them out. And I think there's a couple other points, maybe a driver's license or something. I can't remember, honestly, at this point. But just letting you know, mostly what's being blurred out. They're not trying to hide anything from us. I'm just doing it on an overabundance of caution. So we're going to start off. This is the initial traffic stop. And like I stated, there's a 15-second bumper. So for 15 seconds, you're not going to hear any audio.
I'm so sorry.
Hang tight for me. 710.
710.
Got an Ohio temporary tag for you when you're ready.
Yeah.
It's going to be Robert 443086. Robert 443086.
I'm sorry, officer. I just got this from my son.
No, it's okay.
That's my license.
2005 Ford. So expired 10/19/23.
They're
For the
wait,
Ferguson
I
down to
just
Wadsworth.
bought it from my
Negative.
son. I promise you. These are my kids. Like,
Copy.
So, in case you didn't hear, the dispatch is letting the officer know that the temporary plate that's attached to the vehicle is expired.
Thank you. Well, two things.
yes,
Your speed 15 to 35.
I apologize. It did change fast.
Let me ask you this.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, I want you to turn your car off and I'm going to have you step out.
Okay.
I'm going to have you step out because I don't want to talk in front of your children.
Okay.
Okay?
That's fine.
So, I know we'll get some comments about that. Pennsylvania versus Mims authorizes basically an officer to have an occupant step out of the vehicle for officer safety. And again, depending on pretty much any officer, how you articulate it, the courts give a lot of leeway to the officer as far as officer safety. Now, you could argue, and the reason I'm addressing this is because I know that I'm going to hear the messages or comments about it. It was very short. Generally, with a DUI stop, you have to have some sort of reasonable suspicion. Usually, it's an escalation with a series of questions or clues that you're observing from the driver. So, anyways, I know I'm going to hear a lot of comments. Well, she shouldn't have asked her to step out so soon. It seems more of a consensual exit at this point. She's attempting to not have the conversation in front of the juveniles, and the mother appears to be wanting that as well.
Have you do is step beside my patrol car.
Okay.
We're here. This is your side. This way to your left. Your left.
I'm sorry.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Been drinking tonight?
I had 2 shots. I'm not
Okay.
gonna lie to you.
All right. Since you admitted to the 2 shots, how long ago?
Maybe 30 minutes for the
Okay.
last one.
I can smell it.
That.
I can
A
smell
little
it. Okay.
Okay.
Would you submit to an FSTs?
I'm sorry.
Would you agree to take FSTs?
What is
Spilled sobriety testing.
What is that? I've never been pulled over before.
Basically, it's a field sobriety and seeing if you're sober and
Oh, sure.
other things like that.
I mean,
okay.
no problem.
I mean, I don't have to technically do them because you admitted to drinking 30 minutes
So
ago and
am
I
I
can
getting
smell it.
arrested?
At this point, yes, you're under
Okay.
suspicion of driving while intoxicated.
apologize. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
plus the expired tags
I know.
and the speed, and you just admitted.
Now, to be objective, would I agree necessarily that just because she admitted to having 2 shots that she wouldn't have to do SFTs, which are standardized field sobriety testing? I wouldn't agree with that. I think that you would still have to perform the SFTs, even even though you're getting a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage. Even though she's admitted to having 2 shots within 30 minutes, and I don't actually think she actually admitted to having 2 shots in 30 minutes. She just stated the last shot she had was in 30 minutes, so you don't really know when the first shot was. But would I think that would be enough for an arrest at this point? No. But with the other things, the expired plates, the speeding violation, there's clearly enough to hold her or possibly arrest her if you wanted to. But again, I definitely would have went through the FSTs at this point. So
It's dirtier than that.
And you admitted it too, and plus you're endangering your children.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you place your backside here.
Okay.
Not move for me, okay? I've just got to get a piece of paper. 710. 710. I have an O in when you're ready. It's going to be Robert 0626368. Robert 0626368.
710 for Kristen. She's valid. Negative 15.
Copy. I'm going to be out with that female for FSTs. All right, turn around for me.
Okay.
Kristen?
Yes.
Do you have anybody that can come get the children?
Maybe. I'm usually, the only one, but...
Well, I'm going to allow you to contact somebody to get them, because I'm not going to allow you to drive even if you are released from here.
Okay.
Listen.
Yes.
Work with me here.
I am,
okay?
honey,
The whole thing of the, okay, I can arrest you.
I've never...
I don't even have to put you through this because you just admitted to driving while having 30 minutes ago, two shots, okay? I'm going to give you the chance to do this, okay?
I apologize.
All right? I'm also going to have you call someone to come kick your children.
Okay. Thank you.
Because at this moment in time, you're being detained.
Thank you.
Okay?
That's fine.
With the expired tags, with the speeding, okay? Have multiple probable causes to be out here with you tonight, okay?
That's fine.
All right, so I'm going to ask you a question. Have you consumed any alcohol, beverages, or drugs of any kind in the past 12 hours, which you admitted that you did, correct?
Yeah, I had alcohol, yes.
Okay. Did you think you were, do you think you're unimpaired and able to drive safely?
I do.
You do?
I do.
Okay. Can I give you a few tests to assure that you are okay to continue driving?
Yes.
So just so everybody, this is a form that they just came out relatively recently for the standard field sobriety testing. And I shouldn't say recently. It's probably been 6 or 7 years at this point. Maybe, I don't know. But it's not actually required. These are the questions. It's pretty much primarily the same questions I might ask someone while I was out. But these forms is basically what she's filling out. And so down in this area here, hopefully you can see my cursor. These are going to be like the actual testing results, the scores. It's very strict in the way that you have to administer the test. And this is the biggest problem that I have with officers, because a lot of them take leeway with some of the tests. The test is meant to be very structured, has to be administered exactly, and that's because there are the test basically was sort of based off of scientific data with motor control, muscle control, and you have to make certain that you're administering the test exactly. And I'm not saying she wasn't, but I'm just giving you a little feedback at this point, because she'll never make it to the actual test anyways.
She can.
Do you have any physical limitations that interfere with your ability to walk, talk, drive, or take these tests?
I am half deaf in one ear, but
okay. So if you didn't hear that,
okay.
Definitely 3 shots fired.
Get down.
Oh
Get
my
down.
God. Oh my God.
710. I just had a couple shots fired in my area.
Oh my God.
Get back in your car. It's going to be on Nassau and Wood, Nassau and Wood. Don't go anywhere. Stop.
Now, I know you'll get some comments on that. This is honestly a pretty tough call. You have someone that obviously is intoxicated, or probably is intoxicated. She has her children in the car with her. There were just shots fired. She obviously races back to the car. She wants to leave, obviously. So what do you do as an officer in this situation? Well, I think that Officer McInnes actually handled it just as probably anybody else would. The shots are obviously more paramount than the DUI. Let's hope that she gets home okay. But there's really not much that she can do. She's a lone officer. Having the driver stay on scene is also problematic because she's in your care, custody, and control while she's on that stop. So if she were to get shot, there is mitigating circumstances that you could be liable for that. So it's a tough call. I know there would normally be comments of her telling her to stay initially. It's a tough call. I think she eventually made the right decision.
710, just to be clear, it wasn't at you, correct?
It was in my area. Look at me. Pull. 710, it's going to be a motorcycle.
I did want to stop. So just also some, things that I'm noticing during this pursuit with her. And I might be getting into the minutiae of things, but you'll hear each time that she presses the transmit button on her microphone, you'll hear a beep. And that is the radio repeater system allowing you to know that you are transmitting. If there's an error or someone else is speaking at the same time that you're trying to transmit, you'll actually hear a while you're pressing and attempting to transmit. So when you hear a beep, that tells the officer that they are successfully transmitting and being heard. At some point, and I'll pause it, you'll hear a series of beep, 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 beep. That's her attempting to turn the volume up on the radio itself. When you're in a pursuit, adrenaline is kicking. And the first thing that happens, if anybody knows, when you're adrenaline, even and when exercising, your hearing sort of lowers. I think physiology, your hearing lowers. You start becoming tunnel vision. So you'll hear quite often during this pursuit the beep 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 beep, and that's her. Essentially, she's probably either making certain that the volume is sufficient that she can hear, or she can't hear because of the adrenaline. And she's trying to adjust the volume so she can hear better.
Affirmative. I'm in pursuit with a blue motorcycle heading towards Louisville. He's going to be going on Wood Street, passing Maplewood. It's going to be a white male with a black shirt. Speeds of 80. Still heading east, correction. Heading towards Louisville. Blue motorcycle, white male, black shirt, gray pants. Cannot get the license plate, out of Ohio.
Hopefully all you salties are out there watching, because she's actually doing a pretty decent job during this pursuit. She's remaining fairly calm. She's calling out the streets. She's calling out speeds. She's calling out description of the suspect. She's actually doing a pretty decent job. as far as a pursuit. And as I don't know if she, I guess I probably should have asked her. I would venture to say that East Canton doesn't get a lot of pursuits. So I was actually pretty impressed with this video when I saw it.
710, we're passing Valentine. Gonna be heading northbound. He's got a gun. He's pointing in the air. Shots fired. Shots fired. Northbound, Wood, Winter, towards Louisville. Had a pistol in his hand. Shots fired. Shots fired. He's heading northbound into Louisville. Wood just past Valentine, still northbound.
Copy, Blue's still on the line.
Affirmative. He's turning right into the Eagle Wings development.
Copy, Eagles.
Liberty Road, he turned left. I believe it's Vantage, she's still in the development. He's dead end, he just went into some wooded area. We're now into the wooded area, just got back onto a side road. Turned left, heading southbound now. Try to get to a road. I believe we're heading back into East Canton.
I did notice, I thought it was very interesting. So over here is the radar screen. Radar appears to be still in what's active mode. It seems to be transmitting. So normally this would be the speed that's the number that's indicated on the left side should be her actual speed of her vehicle. So you can clearly see right here, she's doing the 80 miles an hour that she's calling out. And over here, it's only reading like 43 or something like that. So at first I thought there was something wrong with the radar, but then I noticed at some point, I don't know what happened. Maybe that's how she was running the radar originally. I don't know. But the actual antenna is like sideways. It's angled out of the window. So that answered my question why the radar speed wasn't actually the same speed that she was traveling. Just interesting notation.
I believe so. Speeds of 69. Just past Winter Street, still heading southbound. Just got into the Orangeburg Township limit. Just past 5th Street, still heading southbound, 15th Street. Speeds of 89. 710, he's pulling his pistol out again. He just pulled out another pistol. Going into East Canton. Turning left on Maplebrook from Wood. Maplebrook's from Wood. Speeds are going to be 70. Still on Maplebrook. He's going to be coming out of the dead end now. Correction, he's going to be turning left. On line. Left on line. He's going to be coming up on Wood. He's going to be coming up on Wood. Correction, he's going to be turning left on Elmbrook. Left on Elmbrook. He just pulled into a house off of Elmbrook and Wood.
Just another interesting observation. I don't know if you saw it. It'll happen several times here. The siren's active. So a cool feature that they just came out with new police cars is when the siren is active and you put the car in park, it usually will automatically shut the siren off. And I can't tell you how beautiful that was. How many instances where you would arrive on scene with your siren going and you have to get out and run, tackle, chase somebody, and the siren is still going, and man, is that so annoying.
He's back on Elmbrook, heading towards Wood Street. He just cut through some houses on Elmbrook. Heading back towards Line through the back way of houses right now from Elmbrook to Line. Back on Line Street in Elmbrook. Back on Line in Elm. Still on Line. Correction, Elmbrook. He just cut through some houses.
All right, so I'm going to give my 2 cents, and by no means am I second guessing, because what she did is perfectly okay. The guy was just shooting at her, so creating that distance, that's for sure a good tactic to have. Now, I think you'll see at some point, there's actually another officer now at this point with her, off to her left, I believe. Now, again, I have a little more experience with these types of situations, so this guy, in my mind, is more of a threat now at this point. If he's shooting while he's driving around on his motorcycle, he could hit anybody. He could hit an innocent bystander. Obviously, he can hit me. Had I been in this situation, I probably would have disabled the motorcycle. I would have came right in with my cruiser, and I would have toppled that motorcycle over. With that, again, you're going to totally disrupt his thought process. He's going to be off balance. He's going to fall off. So the main name of the game would have been I would have had to have gone over there and made certain that he was in custody or a gun was away from him. But I probably would have done things differently. But it doesn't mean that it's the right way or the wrong way that she performed. But I definitely probably would have driven right into him. She has push bars on her cruiser, I believe. I would have went right in there and disabled that motorcycle.
Put your hands up now! Put your hands up now! Put your hands up now! Do not move! He's back on the bike. Back on the bike.
And this is precisely why I would have disabled the motorcycle. In my opinion, again, she didn't do anything wrong, but in my opinion, I would have disabled that motorcycle because exactly what I would have anticipated to happen, even prior to watching this video, was he's just going to take back off on the bike. And that's what happened. And he's more of a threat to the open road when he's on this motorcycle with his gun. The really loud noise on the radio was feedback, just so you know. Most likely when she exited her vehicle, she turned her handheld radio, which is probably on her person, on. And when she came back into the vehicle, she's using the car radio, and it's causing feedback now in the portable radio that's on. So just, again, another fun fact.
Everybody.
If you can, have the county call out my roads.
So this is where I'm going to be critical on the other officer. So I'm assuming the other officer was with her a second ago. I'm assuming he's right behind her. She's making a call on the radio. So when you are the primary officer in a pursuit, your sole function is to drive. That's what you want your sole function to be. So as soon as another unit gets behind you, they are supposed to take the ball. That's what we used to call it. They are supposed to start calling out traffic, roads, speeds, descriptions. And I believe that's what she's asking for. She's asking for the county. I'm assuming it's a county or deputy. So that's where I'm going to get critical on the deputy's part. Again, maybe they don't get in a lot of pursuits in Stark County, but that second car should now be calling the radio traffic because that first car, her primary car, should be doing nothing but driving.
We're on Wood. Passing high. Wood on high. Passing high. He's on foot, running towards the fire department, on foot, running towards the fire department. He's behind the White House, behind the White House. Yeah, he's back behind the White House. Wait.
Old salties that were complaining about her on the first video. I want your comments now.
Go around to your
Her
left.
tactics are actually pretty superb.
Back behind this building here, right here, the garage. He's trying to get into the garage. He's going to be in here, over here to your right.
I'm going to grab it right here.
Got you.
Right here.
I'm on you. I'm on you.
Right there. Keep your hands where I see them. 43 is right around the corner of that garage. Keep your hands where I see them. Now.
I'm going to wait on.
Ground where I see them. Lay out. the ground.
You got your rifle?
Lay it out.
Yeah, right here. You got your rifle?
Not yet.
I'm gonna stack up on you. I mean, on me.
Lay it out on the ground now.
You got him covered? He's on the right-hand side.
Fisher, you got cover?
Up where I see him. Up.
Fisher, you got cover?
Yes, yes. Hands up where I see him now. Hands up.
On your
Put your hands now!
Can't breathe, dude. I can't.
On your
On your stomach now!
Shoot me if you want.
On your stomach now!
Up in here because I can't.
Go!
On your stomach.
I'm not going on my stomach. I'm laying on my stomach, dude. I'm not going on my stomach. I don't care what the fuck you tell me to do. I'm not going on my
You got
stomach.
any guns on you?
What?
You have a gun on you.
No, I have nothing on me.
Where'd you ditch it at then?
I don't have any guns, dude.
Bro, behind you the entire time.
Okay.
Lay on the ground now.
You don't need a shield, man. I'm not gonna steal.
You got a shield with you?
I'm not gonna take you, you guys.
Here's the way this is gonna work. You're gonna get on your stomach or you're gonna get tased.
Let's fucking do whatever.
Get on your stomach now.
I can't breathe. I'm not.
Get on your stomach. Get on your
My
stomach.
hands. I'm no threat.
On your
I
stomach.
got you.
I'll go down.
On your stomach now.
Here's my hands. Don't cover. I can't
Keep
breathe. I have fucking breathing problems.
That's fine. You took run from the fucking cops.
So I know we talked about this, and we talked about it with the Doug Miller, the police instructor. We were talking about generally, hey, if a person, you're giving them commands and for whatever reason they can't make movements or whatever to adjust to your commands, that sometimes we give leeway just as long as we're able to have that quote unquote officer safety. Obviously in this situation, no, dude, you're getting on the ground. I don't care if you can't breathe at this point, honestly. I mean, obviously I'm obviously not saying strangulate him or anything of that nature. Check on him, obviously, as soon as you get him handcuffed. But I'm saying his complaint is that he can't breathe, and that's why he's not going to go on the ground. And that's not going to be a good enough reason in this case.
I'm gonna stop hurting me.
We're not hurting you. We got you in cuffs.
I'm not fucking resisting.
We have put you in cuffs.
I can't breathe.
Lift me up.
Fucking you ridiculous. Fucking are you slow or something?
Start coming. We got one in custody. Stand up. Stand up. Come on, man. That's what happens when you crash your motor.
It does happen.
Where's the guns?
He had to dish him back somewhere. He biffed it right here. I need to hold a second.
My opinion, again, I'm trying not to be critical. I mean, this has gone on way too long. You have 3 officers covering you. Somebody should have went in and just put him on the ground. So, again, just my 2 cents.
Leg, bro.
Leg.
All right. That's pretty much it for the video. I mean, obviously it continues to go on. He starts to get the jailitis once he's placed in the back of the car. He can't breathe. That's a common reaction. They end up calling paramedics for him. He ends up getting transported to the hospital. It causes some issues. If you remember the interview with Officer McInnes, causes some issues because when someone's arrested, they're in your care, custody, and control, and it's her prisoner, essentially, that agency, East Canton. So they're ultimately responsible for that prisoner. So if you do choose to watch the entire video, you'll see where there is some back and forth trying to figure out, well, who's going to sit with this prisoner. Because unfortunately, that's one of the things that has to happen when you arrest somebody and they go to the hospital. Somebody has to sit with them. All in all, I'm hoping to get those comments from those same old salty police officers from her first video, because after watching this body camera, and I was being a little critical in times overall, her tactics were on point. I thought she did a fabulous job. So I'm waiting to hear the old salties come back and let me know now what you think of this situation. Welcome back, everybody, for the final segment of this episode 25. And I just wanted to let just a quick update. A motion was filed relative to the East Cleveland cases on one of the officers, Ian McInnes. And I don't know how closely you guys are tracking the different officers here on their multitude of charges, but it's very interesting. The defense attorney, he's actually coming up for trial here very shortly. The defense attorney has filed a motion for grand jury transcripts, which I'm sure will be denied because the way Ohio is. I still don't quite understand the secrecy behind grand jury, or why you can't have grand jury transcripts to see what the prosecutor is actually telling the grand jury, because it's just the prosecutor and the grand jury in there. So you have no idea what they are saying. So anyways, in a grand jury, you have the prosecutor and you have the grand jury. And it's a laughable concept, right? Because the prosecutor, because it's done under secrecy, the prosecutor can lie consistently to the grand jury. And there's no way of anybody ever getting those transcripts because they are so secretive and it's so hard. There's a huge burden to overcome in order to get them. But I find it very interesting. If you look, and I will post the motion that the attorney had filed, some interesting information that you can discern from this. One, which I already did know, OSP, Ohio State Highway Patrol, cleared Officer McInnes in one of the instances where he was actually chasing a suspect, and the suspect ran back in the road, and McInnes hit him with the car. OSP cleared him. Cleveland cleared him. Apparently, they are still under that assumption. It's in the motion basically saying, hey, OSP cleared this guy, Ohio State Highway Patrol. Cleveland cleared him. And apparently the state's own expert witness, which they've brought in, basically, I want to find the quote. Following Sergeant Fox, who's the Ohio State Highway Patrol trooper, the state retained Robert Previtt to perform an analysis of all of Mr. McInnes' indicted conduct. Previtt's report is dated September 29th, 2023, with respects to counts 52, 53, 54, 55, and 56. Previtt's findings, and again, this is the state's own expert witness, states that, number one, the automobile collision was not an intentional act. Number two, McInnes' conduct following the collision was objectively reasonable. This is their own witness, folks. Their own expert witness that Cuyahoga County spent thousands of dollars on. That's his testimony. It's from his report. Secondly, it's also obtained that there's a thing called Garrity, and that would probably honestly take me all day to explain, but Garrity didn't come from a police situation. I believe it was actually a postal worker that the Garrity law came from, and it basically states that an employer can force you to make a statement. The employer can terminate you if you don't make the statement. But when you make those statements, you can't give up your constitutional rights to self-incrimination. So basically what that means is, in the police world, I can tell you that, okay, when you would have an internal affairs investigation conducted, you would give the officer, what's called a Garrity warning, which basically states, hey, we're forcing you under threat of termination to give us a statement on whatever this is. In this case with McInnes, it's about this accident. We're telling you that if you don't give us this statement, we're going to terminate you. Well, again, under Garrity, those statements can't be used in a criminal process. And they did. Cuyahoga County prosecutors have used those statements in this investigation. It was also further shown. So basically, it's talking about not only this, but Mitchell, the state's investigator, Robert D. Simone, the wild card that apparently loves influencing people. And that's one thing. I was actually just speaking with one of the defendants on this case, and I actually had received, and I told him, hey, make sure your attorney knows, because I had actually received a call while this investigation was happening from one of the parties that the Robert D. Simone was attempting to question. And the guy was so alarmed that he called me and wanted to file a complaint stating, hey, this officer was trying to put words in my mouth. He was trying to get me to say something that did not happen, and I don't appreciate that. I forwarded that information off to the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office. So you've got this loose cannon Robert D. Simone out here doing these investigations because he is so old school. He's probably got a telephone book back there. He's probably beating the crap out of people for confessions. But anyways, it basically talks about Robert D. Simone, the state's investigator, not the state, honestly, it's the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's investigator. Basically, he's interviewing Commander Mitchell, who did an internal investigation on McInnes relative to this incident. So he's talking about not only this, but Mitchell, the commander from East Cleveland. Mitchell's review of McInnes' conduct stemmed from BC, who was another supervisor for East Cleveland's report, which included Garrity statements from McInnes. In other words, again, statements that should not be anywhere in a criminal prosecution. Shouldn't even have it. Even more shocking, this is awesome. The audio recording demonstrates the investigator is viewing the body camera footage on the spot. This guy's been indicted for years, and this investigator's never even looked at the body camera until this point. You can't make this up, people. Yet, the mainstream media just continues to railroad and give you whatever Mike O'Malley's spewing at the moment. Anyways, folks, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up for this week. You guys have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next week.